Hey everybody, welcome back to the Comic Wall. It's your girl, the Outcast Angel, and today let's talk about issue 11 of Gasolina. Now, Randy and Amalia didn't do very well this issue because shit really hit the fan. Now, if y'all remember last issue, Randy stumbled upon a stash of creatures that Los Queridos were using well, obviously in their attacks on Veracruz. And now we're introduced to a new character, Giovanni. And this guy's interesting. He's some kind of playboy slash mercenary. And he's just a very interesting character, a very cocky character for one thing. Anyway, we see him here with two women, obviously both his lovers, and one of the women informs him our bags had to be packed, the clips are reloaded, and cars gassed. Your men have their instructions, Giovanni, and you need to be vet. Anyway, and so Giovanni has this plan in mind. He says, in a month, we can stop running. Until then, we do everything we must to survive so that our family can keep growing. So he pretty much knows what he's doing, but I'm still confused as to who he's working for. I think he might be part of Los Queridos, or maybe he might be on Randy and Amalia's side, because it wasn't all that clear in this issue. And so here we see him talking with his men, who are a whole bunch of just muscular armed guys and it just looks like something out of a old cartel movie, you know. And he's a very interesting character because he's just like, you all are looking very fucking handsome this morning. Please don't let anything happen to those to ruin those faces. And so he continues to go on saying, remember, unused bullets are wasted bullets. Now come close. We must let Los Queridos know we don't fucking hide. So, obviously he's not with Los Queridos, but he's with somebody. And who is it? And then we see this spread of what looks like an Instagram page, but at the same time, it's I doubt it is. But this guy is weird because he's posting all these pictures of like his hostages, him with guns, him with his girlfriends and their guns, and it's intense. I mean, obviously you can't post that on social media now because you'll get in trouble, but it's weird. Anyway, we jump back to Randy, who's still in the basement with all these creatures, and he's freaking out. He says there's enough creatures here to overrun all of Mexico, and turns out these creatures are still alive. I thought they were dead, or maybe like just, you know, specimens of some old whatever Los Queridos had tried to experiment with or something. Sorry, my hair's not cooperating with me today. And then we jump back up top with the group that Randy had led to this city, or this village that had been taken over by Los Queridos. And turns out the people of this city or this village aren't scared of Los Queridos or La Querida. And the guy in charge isn't really handling things very well, because Randy has to step in saying, this is not the way, you're making this so much fucking worse, we need to step back and we need to talk. And this guy goes off on him. He's I guess pissed that, you know, he's stepping on toes or something, you know. But then the guy he was kind of belittling attacks him. The guy gets shot, and then first off, this page is amazing. I'm really digging the layout of this page. It's just wow. But then Randy tries to stop this, and then a fight breaks out. So yeah, things aren't going as smoothly as they thought it would. Now we jump back to Amalia back in their little hideout, and she follows one of the men who has been interrogating their hostage. And as she passes by, I forgot her. I keep forgetting her name. Lulu, I think. Lucita. There we go. Lucita. Lucita says, "Ama, I pray for you every morning and every night." And Amalia's just like, "Thank you." So, you know, they have a good system working here, you know, and of course they're having everyone together is obviously working well enough for them to, you know, to stay safe. Anyway, she's talking to this guy who is pretty banged up on his hands because he's been torturing his their hostage, trying to get information out of him. And so essentially he asks Amalia for help because he knows this hostage has more to tell. And so Amalia walks into this room where this guy is pretty messed up and has a few teeth missing, but turns out it's not that he was knocked they were knocked out or that he has bad dental problems. He actually had I guess false teeth, or probably gold teeth, because he says your men took them. And so this is actually the subtitle of the issue, Dientes, which is teeth in Spanish. And I like how they throw that in there every now and then with with all the issues they throw that in there, kind of like kind of like the title episodes of certain like TV shows, you know. And so Amalia sits down and cleans him up, you know, trying to show some humanity toward him. And so Amalia's kind of like calling him stupid, saying, this is your fault. You have to be one of the dumbest narcos we've caught because you're deliberate. You came in here with the nicest car, a mouthful of gold teeth, and probably have one of those creatures in you. And turns out this man and Los Queridos are after Quique still. They're still wanting to take him back. And, well, obviously because of the gusano that's living in his chest. And so, it's, this guy describes it as La Querida's children. Like, these creatures that come out of, whoever they get, put into. And so, you know, Amalia kind of throws out saying, because this guy starts talking shit about the guy who was torturing him, and she goes off on him saying he lost his niece last month. Everyone here has lost someone. Sometimes everyone they have from you cowardly fucks, and we've all sworn to stop that from happening. Wherever that takes us until every bullet is spent. But this guy shoots back with something interesting. He says, you want to stop death? Amalia Maria Rojas, who killed the father of her own children? What? What does that mean? I mean, I'm still under the impression that Graciela is her daughter, but now we might getting some hints as to something else, because this man continues to say, your brother, he needed to be reminded of that the business of God's costs blood. And he continues to say, he thought he inherited a beautiful sugar plantation. He thought this land had been passed down through the generations by men who worked and fought for it. He was mistaken. That land has always belonged to La Querida. She made her home there. Do you understand? She made her home there. Do you understand? We took Quique because that's what the lady demanded. Blood is the only currency she accepts, and your family's debt for prospering all these years is now yours. So, you know, this is pretty bad. And so he continues to say, the boy, he killed some of us too. All those lives aren't yours alone to claim. He's special. And Amalia has enough and knocks him out with one punch. That's our girl. Now we jump back to this little village that Randy and the others tried to liberate from Los Queridos, and turns out they lost horribly. A lot of their men have been killed or knocked out, and so Randy is carrying the leader of this group to safety, and turns out they're back in the place where he found that basement full of creatures. And so he's kind of losing it a little bit, because he's just pissed. He's like effing liberation, fucking half-cocked, fucking get us all killed, whatever. He's like, oh, fuck it all. They want to shoot out shots. I need to know how many shots we have left, because we're going to need them. And then we have a little throwback to issue 1, where Randy hears shots fired, and then bullets start riddling the little room that they're taking cover in. One of the men is killed, and by the time the shots stop, he kind of peeks out the door, and we see Giovanni there with the rest of his men. And now I'm confused here because they know each other, because Randy's just like, Giovanni, and then Giovanni's like, sweet virgin mother of God, you look like shit, Randy. Imagine me finding you in a forsaken spot like this. I'm still a little confused because if they're on the same side, they kind of just killed one of their own guys in friendly, well, not so much friendly fire, you know? So I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what Giovanni's where Giovanni stands in all of this. Now we jump back to Amalia and her hostage, and the hostage starts saying, "Are you concerned? Not over me. You could kill me if you wanted, but your husband? Those men that left this morning. Not every town rejects La Querida like you do. They're not frightened to feel love." So obviously not everyone is fighting Los Queridos, as we saw in the last scene. But then he continues to say more interesting things about Amalia, because he says, I know you're incapable of it. That's why you murdered your first husband, incapable of love in general. That's why you abandoned both your children. Which is why I've come to take Quique back. He's one of us. You must see that. La Querida will care for him. While you no longer have a place in her new world. And we see that there's two men behind her, one holding Quique and the other one getting ready to attack her with a knife. So obviously shit's getting worse. And two children? Could Quique and Graciela both be Amalia's children? I'm confused. And I mean, this is just, jeez, I don't know. I need to know. I need to know if they're really her kids, because she's acted like such a mother to them, and especially now that, they're together again. But what happened, And so that's the end of this issue, and I was actually lucky enough to get a letter printed again as the only letter in this letters page. So if you guys aren't writing in, keep writing in, because it's a great way to get information, and I just appreciate being able to connect with the creators of such awesome stories. And so I start with, hey Gasolina team, this issue was fucked. Excuse my language, but whoa. And then Sean's like, I'm okay with that. Shared the series with someone else recently, and they also said it was fucked up, so I went. I continue with, we finally see the creature, only for it to die. Thanks, Sean. I agree, Arielle. Sean is losing it. I did love how interesting it looked, how oddly human it was. And then Arielle, the editor for the series, says, thanks to Niko Walter for his always killer monster designs. And Sean chimes in with, I really didn't plan to kill Kika's dog, but the story went there. Maybe he'll find a new one? Anyway, really feeling aliens in this issue, and the mummy. I'm relieved to see Kike is fine. I was extremely worried. And the gusano in his chest? Are we really calling it a shrimp now? That seems a little less intimidating, but I'll roll with it. I'll roll with whatever y'all go with. And Arielle goes on with, we can stick with gusano. I just really hate shrimp, so it's an easy connection for me, as I find them very intimidating. And Sean says something interesting. He's like, for the record, I've always seen it as a crab, and I love shrimp. Who hates shrimp? I like shrimp. And Arielle's like, don't yum my yuck. I continue with, I'm confused by Sylvia's death. Did she die by the beetles? I mean, we saw a glimpse of it last issue, but she seemed fine until she left this issue. And Randy and Mal letting Kike feed on her. And then Sean says, the idea is that, yes, the bugs inside her hemorrhaged during her drive back, causing her death. But we saw that at the end of issue 9. No, 8. yeah, at the end of issue 8. So what happened? Anyway, and then I continue with, speaking of dogs, my baby Lily is about to turn 4 in July. She already did. This little black pug is the love of my life and a pain in my ass. So yeah, I take fictional doggy deaths personal, Mr. Mackiewicz. On that aside, I'm finishing a new book from Stephen King called The Outsider. I recommend it. It's a very good book, and I'm really digging it. Highly recommend it, as I said, if y'all are into his stuff. And then the rest kind of goes into like different shows or books that we're reading. And you know, if you guys are like, check out the letters page. If you guys aren't reading this, check it out. It's a really good series, and read the letters as well. They get really interesting. And so that's the end of this issue and video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys liked it, and if you did, drop a like, show the love, hit that subscribe button to get more of my videos, ring the bell to get notifications on when I post new videos, so that way you guys stay updated and don't miss out. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.